So at the 11th hour, a court ruled that Donald Trump's bond would be reduced from $464 million all the way down to $175 million, and now he has 10 days to come up with it. Donald Trump viewed this as a victory, and he went out to thank the court and said he respects the court, and he'll come up with the money no problem. Take a look at this clip.
The decision of the appellate division, and I'll post either $175 million in cash or bonds or security or whatever is necessary very quickly within the 10 days. And I thank the appellate division for acting quickly. But Judge Engoron is a disgrace to this country, and this should not be allowed to happen. Thank you.
I love how he starts off thanking the court and respects their decision, and then immediately the judge is just a disgrace, and this is all a political hit job. He always has to get his jabs in at the end. Do you really think that Donald Trump has 1 ounce of respect for any court in this world? Do you really think that Donald Trump has any respect for any authority at all? And I'm not going to sit here and hold my breath that he's not going to come up with some excuse to not come up with the 175 in 10 days. I can so see that coming. And for a guy that wants to sit and talk about how the system is all rigged against him and everyone's out to get him, I have never seen anyone in my life get the breaks he's got. I've never seen anyone in my life be coddled and pampered more than Donald Trump. Ask yourself this: would you have got out of that scenario had you been in that scenario? Would you have made it out? I don't think so. How many times has the law stuck it to you and you just had to take it? Donald Trump keeps getting a free ride and getting let go of everything. And it's causing a whole lot of people to lose faith that anything's ever going to happen to him. But the thing is, the right wing wants to sit and paint this image that we're turning him into a rock star, that the more we come after him, that the bigger rock star he becomes. So my question is, does that mean we're just supposed to back off this guy and completely let him by with everything he done because we don't want to turn him into a rock star, so he just gets a free pass for that? That sounds insane to me. But Jesse Waters on Fox News, you can always leave it to him to tell you how that we're turning Trump into a rock star, and now we're not talking as much about his mugshot, according to Jesse Waters. Get a load of this bullshit.
Every hoax, scheme, indictment is backfiring. Remember the mugshot and how thirsty the left was for it? And then when they snapped the photo and we laid eyes on it, we digested the power. Everyone did, and they realized they'd made him rock and roll, a political immortal. Notice how they don't use the mugshot anymore? You don't see it in the TV or in the papers. It's suppressed.
I can tell you that we were not thirsty to see his mugshot. What we were thirsty for is to see him held accountable. What we wanted to see was him held accountable for his crimes, and we wanted to see justice get served. And no one felt the power of his mugshot. That mugshot was a disgrace. That was a failed former president in disgrace. It was an embarrassment to our entire country. But I do not care if it turns him into a rock star in MAGA's world. I don't care if it makes them send him more of their money. I don't. What I care about is seeing justice get served. But according to Frank Luntz, if we come down on Trump and make him pay his bonds and we start seizing his property, he's just going to claim victim and we're going to put him back in the White House. Take a look at this clip.
I want you to remember this moment and don't forget it. If the New York Attorney General starts to take his homes away, starts to seize his assets, it's all going to be on camera. Pundits are going to sit there and scream about this. This man cannot be elected. You're going to create the greatest victimhood of 2024, and you're going to elect Donald Trump. If they take his stuff, he's going to say that this is proof that the federal government and the establishment and the swamp in Washington and all the politicians across the country and the attorneys generals and all of this, that this is a conspiracy to deny him the presidency. He's going to go up in the polls just like he went up every single time they indicted him. The indictment, let's not talk about whether it's justified or not, but it will prove the things that he's saying on the campaign trail, and he will go up, and it may just elect him president. Do not forget that. And I say this to the Attorney General right now. If you play politics on this, this is what the secretaries of state did in Colorado and what they did in, I believe, is Maine. His numbers went up in both states. I don't understand. I'm almost speechless in how pathetic the opposition to Trump has been and how completely misguided. And this is a perfect example of it.
So we're supposed to sit back and do nothing, not hold the guy accountable at all. Just sit back and do nothing, because if we do something, if we punish him for what he's done, then that's going to turn him into a victim and he's going to cry conspiracy theory. He's been doing that his entire life. That has always been Donald Trump's shtick. He's been crying victim since the day he was born. He's been crying conspiracy since the day he was born. Anytime he's lost at anything in life, the whole thing was rigged against him. So who gives a damn? I don't. I do not care if we turn him into a rock star in MAGA's world, because he already is one. Who cares? I don't care if they worship him harder. I don't care if they send him more of their money. I want to see Donald Trump held accountable for what he's done. I want to see justice served. And this idea that we're just going to turn him into a rock star. So let me ask you this. If you're out there, if you know someone on trial, do you think you could go stand up and say, hey, listen, now, my cousin here is on trial, but if you guys persecute him, he's just going to cry victim, and he's going to say the system is rigged, and he's just going to get more popular around town. Do you really think that would work for you? Do you really think you could get away with that? Could anybody get away with that being their argument? If you were on trial in a courtroom, could you stand up and say, you know what, Judge, you could prosecute me, you could throw the book at me, but if you do, I'm going to become real popular back in my hometown. People's going to love me, and people's going to send me money, and I think the whole system's rigged against me. So is the judge going to say, oh, well, we're sorry we inconvenienced you, let's just leave, you just go right back to doing what you were doing? It wouldn't happen in your world, so why in the hell is it happening in Donald Trump's? He always wants to claim it's all rigged against him. But what's actually going to happen is the exact opposite of what that dude was saying. He's saying, well, if you hold him accountable, you're going to get him elected. I could make the argument the other way. The argument I would make is the more people that sees the system continuously coddle and pamper Donald Trump, the more people are going to lose faith in the system. And the more people are going to get uninspired to even vote. Well, shit, nothing happens to the guy. And I'm already seeing comments rolling in like from other parts of the world saying, well, America deserves the dude if they're going to let him by with everything. So I would make the exact opposite argument. What people wants to see is Donald Trump held accountable. I understand the cult don't. I get it. I totally understand that he's going to get more popular in MAGA's world. That's just going to happen, okay? But to the independent voters out there who are sitting back, they're not looking over feeling sorry for this dude. They're looking over at him, seeing the system and seeing the law come down on him, and they're going, oh, okay, well, that's what you get when you break the law. But when they see the system constantly give him a pass and constantly give him a free ride, and they know they couldn't get that same free ride, they're going to lose a lot of hope. They're going to lose a lot of interest. And that's what we can't have happen. That's why I feel like that the only way this country ever heals and moves forward from MAGA is seeing Donald Trump held accountable. If he's not held accountable, personally, I don't see how any of us could ever heal. Because how would we ever have faith in the system again? And what would it say to the presidents that come after Biden? What's it going to say to them? What's it going to say to presidents years from now that lay their hand on that Bible? Why even do it? Why even lay your hand on the Bible and raise your right hand and swear to defend and protect the Constitution when you can come right out loud and say you're going to terminate it when you see fit? When you can sit and cherry pick the Constitution and twist it and bastardize it to say that you aren't held accountable, everybody else is but you. What's the point in ever having another inauguration? What's the point in any of it if we don't hold Donald Trump accountable? And so many times in our life when we've seen people break the law and we've seen people, we've heard people say, hey, we're going to get him. It's going to happen. We're going to make sure this person pays the price. And then it's always the same old story. It's just like the movie Groundhog Day with Bill Murray. It just happens all over again where they come out and say, well, we did say that, but now is just the time for us to heal, and now is just the time for us to reach across the aisle. To hell with that. The only way that we heal is Donald Trump is held accountable. And the only way we reach across the aisle is for them to hold Donald Trump accountable. I don't want to shake hands with people that's going to give him a free ride. I don't want to shake hands with people that's okay with him being a dictator on day one. I don't want to shake hands with people who's okay with him terminating the Constitution or negotiating a third term. So if we want to heal and we want to move on, Donald Trump has to be held accountable.